To answer this question is our next section. Our next session is a panel conversation that will be taking us to the future and talking about the future of EduTech in Africa, emerging trends and predictions. So ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together as I welcome to the stage our panelists. Our first panelist to come on stage is no other person than Engineer Vivian Chinwe Aliyu. She is the Deputy Manager ICT of Federal Inland Revenue Service. Thank you so much, ma'am. Isn't she looking so beautiful and radiant today? Isn't she? Amazing. Next, our next panelist, he is the R&D Coordinator of Nigerian Tulip International Colleges. He is Mr. Mubashir Shazad, PhD. Please, can we put our hands together as he comes on stage? Thank you so much, sir. Our next panelist is the Senior Instructional Technology and Innovation Lead, Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC. He is Mr. Idris Oladipo. Please, can we put our hands together as he comes on stage? Okay, he will join us shortly. And our last panelist for today's conversation, is Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, PhD. He is the ICT Director of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, La Pau. Please, can we put our hands together as he comes on stage? And to moderate this panel session and make sure we have an amazing and enlightening conversation today, please join me as I welcome our moderator, Dr. T.U. Carlo. Please put your hands together as he comes on stage. Dr. T.U. Carlo. Thank you so much, sir. So ladies and gentlemen, I hand you over to the able hands of Dr. T.U. Carlo.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. While we're still waiting for the last panelist, I can take the seat. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this conference. The topic here is new innovations and technology in promoting education in Africa. Today, we will explore how technology can bridge educational gaps and expand access and improve learning outcomes across the African continent. Africa's educational landscape is evolving rapidly, yet challenges persist. Innovation and technology offer promising solutions, but successful integration requires collaboration and strategic investment. Obviously, we're going to have an explosive, insightful, and overflow of knowledge here today with able panelists here, and be prepared to learn as much as you can from them. So this morning I'm going to be positively biased. We always thought to be positively biased, so I'm going to do that by starting with the lady, beautiful lady, Engineer Vivian Chinwe Aliyu. Can you, another round of applause for her, please? Thank you. As the moderator for this panel session, I reserve the prerequisite to divide this session into three segments. The first would be on future of EdTech in Africa. And all of the panelists are going to speak on this. First, we're going to start with the lady. So, Engineer Vivian, what do you think is the role of artificial intelligence, machine learning, playing in education in Africa? I mean, especially in ameliorating the state of education currently in Nigeria. Did you get my question? I can rephrase.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much for that question. When it comes to what is currently pertaining with the educational sector, with regards AI and emerging technologies. I would say most of the things that were listed by the first speaker from NIDA is actually ongoing, especially the personalized learning programs, courses, and platforms. So thanks to the LLMs we have available and developers making use of these LLMs to different APIs and all that, we have like personalized systems where courses and learning curriculums can be designed particularly for a particular set or cluster of children or cluster of students. I don't know if you guys have heard of RAG LLMs, which are retrieval augmented generation LLMs. That's the generation that is actually, we've moved from the basic LLMs you have to RAG LLMs. And these are personalized chatbots and chat assistants where you connect your personal data. So if you are a school, for instance, or a business, it's even been, this is a technology that is being used in some schools today. So you connect your personal data to these specialized RAG LLMs, and all you as the teacher or student have to do is like query the system, and it brings out personalized data, not just general knowledge like your chat GPTs and your Mid Journeys and all that. It brings out personalized responses and prompts that are particular to what you have in your database, particular to what you have set as your curriculum. So this is more specialized and more personalized to what to the curriculum of that particular educational institution. So that is some of the emerging technologies that are currently in use now. RAG LLMs for personalized learning.
Thank you very much. So move over to Mr. Mubashir Shazad. AI, rather, and machine learning play in the future of education in Africa?
Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you for your question. Now, when we talk about AI, we don't talk about today. We talk about tomorrow. We talk about future. And when we talk about future, we need to, like our able speaker said earlier, that we are at the education and technology. And we know that in Nigeria and generally in Africa, over 600 million mobile connections have been connected on connectivity. So it shows that based on AI, we can generate mobile-based learning solutions, mobile-based learning platforms. You know that in Africa, statistics report that over 80 million children are out of school for one or another reason. So it is the time to decide to sit together with the policymakers that we can integrate AI for our future schooling, which person in even a rural area, in a area, get quality education. And also using AI can help us create localized content. So those who are content developer here, it is a good sign for it. We know over 2,000 languages are spoken in Africa, and it is very difficult to get education in a colonial language at times because the retention rate, the engagement rate is not the same as if you are being taught or if you are learning anything in your own native language. So it's also a positive thing that we can extract from the emerging AI technologies. Currently, there are some examples of it. Right now, ChatGPT has already launched its model for speaking, like you prompt spoken, and then it reverts you. Similar AI apps can be built up for different languages. And then when we say different languages, it is important to put our curriculum, because our target should be accessibility, inclusivity. If we are just providing something and we don't know what is the sole purpose of it, then, and we are ignoring the communities, then it will just leave us to in the path. So this is also important to develop localized content, digital content library for our future generation, for these students which are out of the school, and we can engage them. When I said that over 600 million people are having mobile phone access, it means that it makes the 50% or over 50% population of Africa. So a reliable solution can be made by letting the stakeholders sit together, make their policies in accordance to it. When we say stakeholders, we say industrialists, we say software developers, program developers, as well as the educationists and NGOs, because NGOs are ready to spend. Only the African Development Bank has planned to fund $1.2 billion. And the market in Africa is very huge. So as one of the speakers already mentioned, that it will reach by the end of 2024 $1.5 billion in educational technology, which we call EdTech. So integrating AI to our future plans can lead us towards sustainable development in education, and get, more importantly, a generation equipped with the modern tools.
Thank you very much. That was a very good perspective. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. And we hope that our leaders would get to improve our policies to accommodate emerging technologies, so we can be like other nations who are doing so well in education through artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. So now we'll move over to Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi. Please, the mic. Okay. So can you, with very concrete statements, can you tell us how you think AI can improve education in Africa?
All right. Thank you, and good morning. Yeah, according to the network index of Cisco, that is the virtual network index, there's a prediction of having ×3 the world population where smart gadgets will be connected to the current internet. So this brings us to the discussion that AI is coming in us and we must marry AI. So if you just put that into mathematics and better perspective, you have 8 billion people ×3, about 24 point something billion gadgets connected. So just to buttress the point of Dr. Yahya Saidu, we will definitely be connected, and everybody needs to be part of this ecosystem. And God bless all of us and so many relatives in the country and some village people that don't have phones. Your cousins in China and India are already making the connections on your behalf. Because in this hall, you have so many people with their smart wristwatches, smart glasses, and everything. So it means you need to understand what you do so that you can be part of the negotiation, the collaboration, the critical thinkers, and also be creative so that you can bring it into perspective. For the 21st century, there is nothing that is possible without the 4 C's, which is the communication, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. AI itself cannot exist without collaboration. AI cannot also exist without critical thinking, because all of the codes and algorithms are based on intuitive knowledge of the designers and that which are now transmitted in the algorithms. So, and that's why our conversation, particularly in AI, particularly we in the academia, it's a bit tricky and a bit controversial, because without a foundation, the AIs cannot exist. So each and every one of us need to understand how he formed the team and partnership so that we can fully harvest the educational technology together with what we have to do in the future. So the concrete idea here is all of us need to belt up, stand up, to live up, so that we will accept AI and drive it fully into our educational being and our existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. That was very powerful. I hope we're getting insights today. All right. So we'll move to the second segment, which is on current innovation. So for Engineer Vivian, from an engineering perspective, what recent technological advancements do you see having the most significant impact on educational delivery in Africa from an engineering perspective?
All right, thank you. That's a very, very interesting question, especially coming, like you mentioned, coming from an engineering perspective. Now, a recent CNBC report 2 months ago actually stated that the power that you need to actually, when you type in a prompt in ChatGPT, the power you need, the power that is consumed by your data centers and your chips in the cloud is actually 10 times what is consumed when you put in the same query on Google. Also, to generate an image, I'm sure many of us have tried generating an image using Midjourney, even using DALL-E, right? Some of us have tried generating images on these AI platforms right now. Now, do you know that the power you need to actually generate that just one image on an AI platform is approximately the same power you need to charge your smartphone fully to full capacity? The power you need to charge your phone to full capacity is the same power that is being used by the back end, by the data centers, by your chips to actually generate just one image for you. So when you put all this into perspective, you see that the sectors that will be, the foundations that will be needed to power your AI platforms, those technologies are actually important. And big tech are thinking about them right now. So from an engineering perspective, big technologies such as your Google and your Amazons and even your Oracles, they are looking beyond, they are looking at problems beyond just your applications. The applications that we run, the applications that education can use. They are looking beyond that. There is actually an energy crisis, and there is also like data center crisis going on. Because these technologies that your developers easily come with, the backbone, the technologies that power the backbone of these technologies are very, very important also. They are also a space. They are an opportunity space that most technologies don't even look at, especially in Nigeria. Data centers, then the energy to cool and maintain those data centers, sustainable energy to actually support those data centers. These are spaces that big technology companies like even your OpenAI are even going to. OpenAI just recently acquired an energy company, a sustainable energy company. Okay, so we know where they are thinking. So these are spaces that we don't think about, especially when we as technologists, we don't actually think about these places. But when you think about, when you look at Africa as a space, it's glad to see that when I think of Africa, permit me to say, I would always refer to Nigeria, of course. If you look at our government, you can see that our government are even thinking in that direction. So we at the low level also, we should be thinking in those places. If you look at the National Artificial Intelligence Strategy document, the strategy that has been developed by the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, if you look at that strategy, I employ anybody who is passionate about building technology, especially for education or any space whatsoever. You need to look at that document because that can give you an idea of where we are going to and where the opportunities will come in, especially in the energy part of it and so on. If you look at that document, you'll find out that one of the pillars is building the infrastructure, our AI in the country. Okay, so they are talking about expanding our fiber optic connectivity from 35 kilometers right now. We are presently at 35 kilometers. The plan is to expand it in a few years to 125 kilometers. So if we have that level of connectivity, you know what that does for the speed. You know AI, from what I've just said, and the energy condition and speed, you know how that would improve speed of connectivity. Okay, so it's a good thing to see that our country is actually even looking in that direction. So from an energy perspective, Nigeria is actually thinking about it, and we as the developers, we at the middle or bottom line of the technology food chain, we should be thinking in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to be seeing more futures for education in Nigeria through engineers. Also, there's this thing they call the Internet of Things, right? So integrating that now, it improves, the learning environment, and also the LMS and all of those things engineers come up with to, enhance teaching and learning. Yesterday I was in a conference, and then an engineer did a presentation where something they call interactive digital systems now. They no longer use chalkboards and whiteboards. It's like a TV screen. And then the instructor, it's like what he's saying is displaying on the screen, then he's also writing on the same, like a TV. He's writing, and what he's writing is integrating digitally with what's on the screen. Isn't that wonderful? Let's give another applause to engineering. Engineers are doing wonderful jobs improving educational outcome in Africa. So over now, we'll move over to Dr. Mubasha Shazad. I hope I'm not destroying your name. Am I pronouncing it correctly? All right. How do you think that digital tools and online platforms impact access to education, particularly in remote areas, as underserved areas in Africa?
Thank you very much. I will start giving the example of U-Lesson. U-Lesson was an initiative taken by Nigeria, some Nigerians, youngsters, and now they got 1 million users. And the market they have right now is of $45 million. It's close to billionaire, but they will keep doing better, and then they will enhance their market up to that. Besides that, Dr. Saidu in his speech already indicated, and the speaker earlier also told, that we as youngsters can do better than what we are doing right now, not only in terms of developing programs, softwares, content, but also finding the sustainable solutions in terms of producing gadgets, in terms of coming up with ideas that can help teaching and learning, particularly in under-reserved, privileged areas. The simple example, if I would like to give you, there are only, I would like to talk with statistics, 6 million teachers in Nigeria. Over 6 million teachers in Africa. This is very limited strength. And if we equip them very well, they can bring some soft change. Equipping them with the gadgets which are low cost, like providing them solar tablets, solar powered tablets, or handheld printers, etc. These are some examples. So these kinds of initiatives, these kinds of gadgets, government initiatives like providing each teacher a laptop, gadget, a book, either Chromebook or another notebook, is kind of a solution. We are going to gradually integrate them in our modern day of teaching and learning environment. Now the traditional way of teaching and learning is wiping out. And yes, the infrastructure issues, energy crisis, they remain there, and the industrialists should work upon it again. But we are not going to stop, we are going to move forward. And when we talk about the solutions for rural area. We must also consider that there are opportunities and there are NGOs, those who are willing to spend. What they need is a solid idea. What they need a solid initiative, a discussion, an innovative startup that can help teaching and learning at that place. If you go to internet and you browse who won the Cambridge Best Teachers Award in 2023, you will be surprised that the Cambridge Best Teacher Award goes none other than a Nigerian teacher who was in Lagos. Please give a round of applause for him. So he was living in a rural area in Lagos, nearby Lagos, and this man, just during the COVID, did not stop teaching to his students. He prepared a self-built school, and he assisted the students during that period. And Cambridge internationally nominated him as the best teacher. So the thing is that where we are standing now is the time to decide. If we do not decide now, we are going to lag behind, because this is a generation of Generation Alpha and generation of AI. So if we can equip them today and direct them to the path they need to attain, then tomorrow we can harness. Now, the Jeffersonian theory of education, that the education for the public good, is now shifted for the education for public demand now. Before, we were having a supply-driven educational setup. Like, you are being graduated, enter the market. You are being graduated, enter the market. But now, it's now demand-driven educational setup. If there is demand in the market, they will catch you. If there is no demand, you will remain behind. I am a businessman. I am a billionaire. If I need an accountant to hire, I will definitely hire an accountant with abilities and capabilities of being data mining, data analyst, AI professional. I need these skills. If I have to have an accountant who will help me to also come up with the policies, come up with the statistics, come up with the more innovative ideas. So this is the demand of the time, need of the time that we must focus on, and we cannot neglect it at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, for a close, Dr. Ibrahim, I'd like you, in a nutshell, to just tell us what are the, obviously, you've been using technology in education. I want you to tell us some of the challenges you've encountered, and then how you think we, as innovators, can address those challenges and improve.
Thank you. The first among the challenges is the technology acceptance. It's so nice that the Edu conferences are actually driven with the lovers of technology, but the average educators need to be spoken to. And we also need to introduce a change of mindset using what we call, or breaking what we call the technophobics in all of our educators. That's the first part. Then it is also interesting to mention here that it is easier to own a mobile phone than to have a pipe-borne water running around houses, particularly in the rural areas. So that means that we can as well change the mindset of people to accept technology, to understand the benefits of using technology, to also drop the fear and the negative narrations about technology. And when we do that, we can see a change that people can actually accept. We also need to push so much in breaking the positive news about the use of technology as against the negatives. We have so many reservations as it relates to regions and settlements across Africa that sees the ill of technology even before they know what it is for. The simplest example is the gas cooker. You remember so many people will tell you, no, it's not possible for me to have gas cookers in my house because we learned that it will be explosive, it's going to kill people. It's the same mentality that some people are still holding about technology. And I completely agree with Dr. Saidu when he was saying that the mobile devices can do better than what they are doing. Now let's go back into the education. In the 21st century, we are trying to see how we bring learners to learn based on what they enjoy doing. I think it's interesting. Learners to learn using what they enjoy doing. So you categorize the learners into different folds. If you have a learner that is so much of a story listener, then you give him the technology and education through the storytelling approach. If you find a learner that is so much of a gamer, you use the gamification approach to give him the knowledge and also accept the divides. If you have somebody that is so religious based, then you use the faith-based approach to also give him what he wants. But the most important thing is we must break the phobics of technology using what we call the technology acceptance model. And if we do that, definitely we're going to see Nigerians flying high. I respect the statistics given by Mubashir. I think Nigeria is around 1.4 something million teachers. So imagine having all of the 1.4 million teachers accepting technology. Then you have what we call the recursive doubling. And recursive doubling means 1.4 teachers will be teaching 1.4 in the first round, and you have 2.8. Then you make a recursive doubling of that. What will you be having? You'll be having about 5 point what? Thank you, 5.6. So that is in the third round, you'll be talking about 10 point what again? 10.2 or thereabouts, if the mathematics is allowing me. So these are the key issues. Break technology fears, allow people to accept the model of technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That draws this panel session to a close. From the audience, do you have any questions? We can take 1 or 2 questions. Just 1 or 2 questions. Show of hands if you have any questions. All right. So we don't have time for questions. So come to a close for this panel session. You have a question? Sorry, let's take one, just one. Just one. Okay, we'll get back to you on that, okay? Thank you very much. Let's give it up for our panelists.